Welcome to another episode of Talking Sports A to Z with Alex Busch and Drew Zlogar. Today we got a couple things on tap. First, we're going to talk about the NCAA's new rules for athletes taking promotions and such. We got an interview now with our good buddy, our first interview with Justin Lester. He worked with us at the NBA. Now he's gone back out west, back home, and he's a 2K mobile community manager, social media community manager. So we got him, and then another edition of The Last Dance, the last two episodes that were aired on Sunday. Good stuff coming up, and we're looking forward to it.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the episode here. Alex Busch alongside my boy Drew Zlogar. How's it going, bro?
What's going on, man? Episode 3. Every day I wake up and it's like another chance to talk sports, and we're still a podcast 3 weeks in. So we're doing something right. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. We're getting some more views, some more hits, which is fun. It's, keeping us busy for sure.
Definitely keeping us busy, and we're appreciating all the support. But had a great weekend. I know in the New York City tri-state area, it was phenomenal weather. Finally starting to feel like summer is like upon us, and but excited to talk sports, man. I think even with not a lot going on, we keep getting nuggets fed to us, and the episodes that aired last night with The Last Dance were all like already incredible. We already knew that, but watching them again, it was third week in a row of just being thoroughly impressed. But I think the first thing that we should talk about, you already kind of introed it, NCAA finally coming out and saying that players can get paid for their likeness and the sort. Just wanted to know your thoughts. I know you definitely have some takes hot in the oven, so wanted to know what you think about it.
Yeah, I'll just first read it off so we have kind of a baseline on what we're doing. But the NCAA last week, it says Board of Governors move towards allowing student-athlete compensation for endorsements and promotions. The governing body has taken unprecedented steps to allow college athletes to be compensated for name, image, and likeness. And it pretty much includes compensation for other opportunities such as social media, businesses they have started, personal appearances, and et cetera, et cetera. So pretty much saying like, a guy, a top athlete can get a sponsorship for, I guess I don't know the exact guidelines because a lot of teams have shoe deals and stuff like that and uniform, but I feel like that might be a possibility. But it's also like, a guy's being sponsored by Beats or, doing an Instagram ad or,
right.
Things like that. So,
No.
I mean, there's two sides to it. This came up the other night with my family. I was like debating it with my dad, and we already, we chatted about this earlier, but it's pretty much, I feel like it's a generational thing to who likes it, who doesn't like it, who agrees with it and such. But like the main thing that people are talking about is, should individuals on a team be able to get this when college is such a unified team kind of thing? Should your top guy be able to get sponsorships and, other players don't? And will there be, other interests in a locker room, but also does it ruin kind of amateurism, or does it take away from low level colleges that could be recruiting and have issues recruiting because, a certain player might think they have a better opportunity at an Ohio State rather than an Ohio University? That's just an example for my life, but you know what I mean? So, I mean, I was just going to say quickly, like I'm all for it. So,
yeah, like with what you just said, and I think you did a great job explaining in layman's terms, I think you bring up a good point. If a university like Duke is sponsored by Nike for their apparel, obviously that would mean that star player can't come in and broadcast and endorse a new Adidas shoe. That's something that has to be written in the
I've looked all over for those kind of things and I haven't seen much. So I think that's still something that we don't know.
Maybe they're going to iron out, but that seems like that would be a stipulation behind it. But basically, yeah, like you said, third-party vendors So anything that's not affiliated already with the school in a contracting agreement, they're able to do. So essentially any other pro athlete that you see getting paid for sponsorships, now college athletes can, given these guidelines. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. Let's just get that out of the way. I think you make a good point that this technically, for whatever reason, is an argument, and it's a generational thing. My parents, my grandparents, people from an older generation were surrounded by athletes and surrounded by athletics at the college level as an activity that supplemented with academics.
Mm-hmm.
You went to school
to get
for academics 100%, but as time has shifted, you now have the NCAA basketball. Players can leave after 1 year. For NCAA football, players can leave after their junior year. So we've gradually seen this trend through the years that has been pro individual, pro athlete, in terms of when you can go pro and when you can kind of leave school. So it's kind of slowly but surely trended away from just a university and just there for sports and academics, but we're also doing sports. That's not the time anymore. And Zion Williamson and all these pros or all these just celebrities are establishing a brand for themselves at 14, 15, 16 years old. With how advanced social media has become and digital media has become, these hoop tapes that kids are having produced by them. Like, I remember back in the day when I was growing up, like Akil Carr and these OG high school mixtapes, they were awesome because like maybe 3 or 4 high school athletes a year got a mixtape. Nowadays,
Melo Ball's getting a mixtape a day.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, you see these low-level guys just getting absolutely just incredible praise. 3-star athletes that will be committing to mid-majors are getting like Ball is Life and Slam cred just because they know how to dunk. Things like that. So these kids that are elite are going to a university already being a brand. So it's about time.
So much about your own brand now.
It's about time that the NCAA is coming around to this. To me, it was late, to be quite honest with you. But the fact that it's here,
it's at this point, like, it's not too little, too late, but it is little and late for sure. Like
100%. No, I think you're right, and I think the NCAA does look like almost like a pissed off girlfriend or something. Like, fine, you could do it, but it doesn't have it. It doesn't at all look.
Go out with your boys.
You can. All right, fine. You're
you can make money.
You have 3 million followers on Instagram and you're 17. Fine, you can make money on an endorsement. It's just like, yeah, no shit, I can. Like, I'm a brand now.
Yeah, it's so you can see that it's so much like they heard all this pressure for years and years, and now that things are changing, like we talk about the G League, or we were talking about this earlier, the G League having guys be able to go right into the G League from high school, that's definitely affecting it. So it's just so many different things that they're kind of like, okay, we need to. But the thing I will say, I've seen online that they're probably not going to do NCAA video games still. I'm pissed about, because I thought that's what this is. I've been waiting for freaking 6 years. Yeah, 14 was the last game, right? Been waiting for 6 years, and hurts. I just love those games.
The NCAA games, like NCAA college football, was an incredible game. Yeah,
I loved it, and it's so funny because like you see people like we talk about, like Big Cat's been streaming games, and you see those old games, and you're like, oh my God, like it's so much different than now.
Totally. Yeah, no.
We're everyone's gamers when they're kids, so we're not playing a ton, but like those games were legendary. Imagine if they had the graphics and different things that they have nowadays. So
I want to touch on a point that you made earlier. With this being said, so now athletes can get paid or for endorsements and sponsorships like that. How you brought up an Ohio State would potentially get a recruit over an Ohio University because their likeness could be
because they'd be in a
exposed more.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I think that that's already been established.
100%.
And it was almost like they were never going to pick Florida Gulf Coast, but they were going to pick Florida and go to be a Gator because the Gators play in the SEC, so they'll be on CBS.
You're still part of your brand, whether you're getting paid for it. Like, you're going to get a better look at a different school anyway.
100%. So I personally don't believe that this added wrinkle that now they can get paid will really affect those lower level schools, because let's just be honest, they weren't really going to be competing with 5-star athletes anyways. So,
oh yeah, I mean, I bring that up because it's debates and I've seen it. Not that I agree with it, because I'm glad we agree on this, because like I agree so much. And my example when I was debating with my dad the other day was, you think about guys like John Morant playing at Murray State. Like, if he were to get endorsements and stuff and have that in his thing, like, would you think he'd have more of a chance going somewhere big? I really don't think so. And the other thing is, these top guys at little schools, whether it's, a mid-major or whatever, the mid-major stars are going to get more airtime because they dominate the conference.
100%.
You have much more of an opportunity to play a lot of minutes, and very meaningful, because, if you have a decent team in a crappy conference, you destroy the conference, you go to the tournament, and then you become,
Two names come to mind because I agree with your example. One is John Morant, but two is Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmer Fredette went to BYU. Steph Curry. If you are that elite and you are that good of a player, you will get the publicity. So it's not like
and you will
Ohio State is now going to get all the recruits, and poor Ohio. It's just like, no, Ohio is never getting the recruits. Like, sorry to say, but like, if another Jimmer comes along and he's shooting from half court and he's scoring 40 a game, but he's at one of these mid majors, is going to get
still going to be a stud in the media.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that I agree. It's good that we both agree. But it'll be interesting. I think we should put out a poll. We should put out a poll on our social channels to see what our followers think. I think we have a skewed demographic. I think a lot
we do, because like even me, just myself, I put out my own poll for the hell of it, and I was like telling my dad I was going to put it up, and at the end it was like 60-something votes, 70 votes, whatever it was, and it was 90% to 10, I'm pretty sure.
So. Right. So I do really think that it's a generational argument, but as this evolves, it'll be cool to figure out and see how it unfolds even more for the pro now college athletes. So it's good, but I think I'm just excited to talk to Justin Lester, man. It's been a few years. It's been a few years since we kind of really hashed it out with him and like heard from him. He's all the way on the West Coast and doing big things. So I'm looking forward to having you guys listen.
Before we send it to him, you're going to hear us talk smack about 2K. And I just want to say, put my hand up. The guy just dusted me. It was bad. We played. So first off, we just played for the hell of it. We played 3 games of Madden. He won 2, I won 1. I had like 300 receiving yards with OBJ with the Browns. No big deal. But then, he waxed me the first game. Second game, I probably should have won. But anyways, we played 2K the next day, and we were like deciding teams. We picked really good teams. It was like Lakers. I was Lakers. Who was he? Someone really good. Bucks or someone. I forget. But I was beating him, and then in the fourth quarter, he just destroyed me. So, and the second game wasn't even close because I picked the Hawks because I wanted to trade.
And you were pretty confident last week.
We're gonna. I paid up my debts. It's okay. I Venmo'd him after, so we're good. But we're gonna play again. I was a little salty, but it's okay. Shit happens, right?
Now you got a chip on your shoulder. That's good.
Oh, I got a chip. I got a huge chip on my shoulder. So.
Well, without further ado, let's get him into this room. Let's get him on the airwaves. I think you guys are going to enjoy the conversation that we had with our former colleague and buddy still to this day, Justin Lester. Let's bring you to it.
Now we welcome in our good buddy Justin Lester, 2K Mobile Community Manager of Cat Daddy Games. Our good buddy from the NBA, worked with us in social media at the NBA, did a lot of WNBA in his time. How's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Dude, the first thing that I saw when I logged on here and saw your face was the mustache. So you left us about 2 years ago.
Quarantine stash.
It looks like you're finally growing some facial hair, Justin. So
Dude.
Claps to you, man.
I went from a 15-year-old when I worked with you guys to now like a 20-year-old. So
it has like a white van and he's just rolling up.
I love it, man. And the second thing that I thought about, and we're going to get into this, but how has the ping pong game been going? Because you and I had some battles, some sweaty atrium battles right before the night started of games. We would get our blood flowing with some best of sevens, best of fives. We held it down on the ping pong table. How's that game treating you?
Yeah, it probably wasn't the best idea to play before the night started, huh?
Right. Totally bad. Got me all fired up. It was too fun beating you.
No, my game is strong as ever. I'm playing at my office all the time, except for now when we're quarantined. But no, still playing and going strong. I think I could still take it.
Oh my God. I don't know about that. Busch, you never wanted to smoke with either of us. I don't think
I just played Papa Shot and then the one machine broke and I freaking couldn't get above 21 because the one was broken the whole time. So
you were too good. You were making it too much that it just glitched.
I think I just dunked on it and just broke it when I played Wong. Too many times.
That's the one hoop you'll be able to dunk on in your life.
Got him.
True.
Very true. Yeah, man. So Justin, Busch kind of alluded to it. We kind of established ourselves as coworkers and friends in the NBA a few years ago, but just take it back there, man. It's been a couple of years for all of us since we've been back. Now that the memories are fresh on our minds as we're talking here, what are some things that you remember and look back fondly on?
Yeah, I miss it a lot for sure. I think the things I remember most are just those nights with everyone downstairs when we're posting about the games that are going on as they're happening. And I specifically remember the WNBA finals when I was running the W accounts, and it was pretty stressful covering the finals when we were told to tweet just about every minute. So it's basically, type out 5 words, hit send, a minute later, hit send again. That's one of the things I remember most. That was pretty stressful, but no, I think it's just spending time with other people, and we all love the NBA obviously, and we bonded over that. So I think it's just the friendships I remember most.
So I have to bring up the last WNBA finals that you worked. Seattle Storm won, and I wanna ask you who called the MVP and the champion months before, and you would not tell me that tell that person that they were correct and that they were wrong, and you wouldn't shut up about it, and they were right. Who was that?
That would be one Alex Busch.
This guy fishing for credit. Busch, you're one of a kind,
dude,
man.
Every day I was like, yo, Brianna's going to be MVP. That team's winning, no doubt. And he's like, get out of here. What? You would do the Lester, what? And then look what happened.
Yo, props to you, though, Justin, because I think you kind of left with a bang with your MVP thread that whole season, because didn't you catch a lot of heat
MVP, baby.
Your raced MVP, just whole franchise that year? Was it the Dallas Wings with Skylar Diggins? They were kind of calling you out, but they didn't really know it was you, so they were just like, whoever's writing this is terrible or whatever. Talk about that, because from a distance, that was interesting to see that you were like catching some heat.
Yeah, I just remember that. I didn't even realize until you said it, but yeah.
I forgot about that.
What was that?
No, I forgot about that as well.
Yeah,
it was
my
crazy.
second year writing race MVP, so every week I would write who were the top 10, basically the players in the WNBA at that point of the season. And at one point, I think it was like week 5, got an email from the president of the Dallas Wings. And at that point, Liz Cambage was on the team, and I had her probably first or second because she was just destroying the league. But he wanted me to also mention Skylar Diggins-Smith, who, in my opinion, was not a top 10 player in the league at that point, from a very objective standpoint. And he did not agree. I think he might have been a little biased, but we can go back and look at the numbers if we want. But yeah, so he sent me an email. I think I sent it off to Patrick Morinen, and he ended up taking care of it. But yeah, the president of the Wings. How about that?
Hey, numbers speak, because I remember every time. I remember my first day. I think I told you a story when I was talking to you the other day. My first day, maybe first week it was, I walked in and Justin Lester's over there just glamoring about his race to MVP because the MVP was named, and he was 10 for 10 on the exact votes. It was incredible, but numbers speak.
He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, he knows the shit.
Through the Dallas Wings president, man. I remember when I was hearing that and kind of witnessing that, I was just like, yo, we're doing some like next level shit. We're like really a part of this like media community. Like you and I just walking into Secaucus every day, just like, all right, it kind of got monotonous at times and just another day. But then next thing you know, you wake up and you have a fucking email from the Wings president. That was probably scary, but also like, damn, my work is being read by people all over the world. That must have, in a way, been like, I'm on a big stage.
Yeah, I had no idea that many people were reading it. And I think even like Skylar once liked a tweet where someone said, "Oh, it's shameful that this guy doesn't have her in the top 10.
Oh, she totally did, dude. She
Find
totally
this man.
I was like, she's really reading this right now? Like, come on. Like, I was a few years out of college. You know, I was doing my best. And she's really reading this stuff. Man, it was cool, though. Yeah, like you said, you didn't realize how many people were reading it. So
yeah, a couple of years out, I would almost have that as one of my first and foremost stories. I'd be like, yeah, like, my race MVP was always accurate, and it was getting under the skin.
And it was getting called out.
That's something that not a lot of journalists can say. So hats off to you, man.
Thank you.
But
yeah, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything right.
That's true.
Exactly. I'd rather be talked about than not talked about at all.
Just on the W front, I mean, that was pretty much WNBA was your, what you were doing every day, a lot of the time. And, how much did you enjoy doing that? Because just from me working in the G League, I know that like the lower league, you get more experience, more, chances and opportunities. So, what'd you like doing that? Because I know you were all locked in on that your whole time there.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, the more experience you get because it's a lower league. And I worked for the Storm before I got to the NBA. And so I kind of got to know the players there. And I saw, I think in the W, players don't have as big of egos, for several different reasons. And I even saw that more when I got to the NBA and the WNBA. I got to work with Elena Delle Donne pretty closely, a lot of the superstars, and they're just super down to earth, great to work with. But yeah, I got to do a ton of different things that I'm super grateful for, like running the account during the finals, going to events, which actually I just remembered. I saw the Dallas Wings president at All-Star.
Oh, God.
We got eye contact for a few seconds.
Did he know who you were?
I think he did, yeah.
He's just like, oh, that's the
fucking guy.
And we went our separate ways.
Sounds like a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just going to a ton of different events. I even got to come back to Seattle, where I'm from, and cover the All-Star game when they had it here. So going to all these events and interviewing all these superstars was awesome.
Yeah, man. In my experience from basketball has always been part of my life. And admittedly, before I got hired by the NBA, I kind of poo-pooed the WNBA and never really gave it the credit that it deserved. But when I got there and everyone that I worked with, you included, but having you and Anthony Oliva be like, yeah, and BK, like having like male figures that I worked with that respected and valued the WNBA like you guys did, it quickly shifted my mindset And like you guys both were saying, when I look back on my time at the NBA, I almost valued like my experience with the lower leagues more than what I was doing with NBA entity stuff. It's like when you almost felt, and you guys could speak for it from your perspective, but I know what I did for the W and the G, I felt more like it was meaningful. Like the NBA had such a huge fan base that it would just go into the ether, and like whatever we would publish, next thing you know, where the hell did it go? Blah blah blah. It's like, no, your WNBA article, you got heat for it, and you got to see the heat like firsthand. Like
Drew loves this story. I love it.
Well, dude, like the whole point of being in this industry is to be seen and to be heard. And like I thought that the WNBA and the G League, you were able to do that. And like it was cool that like quickly working with the NBA, but on the W side, it totally reshifted my mindset, and like the respect that I totally fell for immediately. It was awesome. It was cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things you don't know until you do it. Like, and the lack of media coverage of the WNBA, like guys like us growing up, we probably don't know much just because of the lack of exposure. And once you get into it, you realize the high level that it is, and also just how great the players are to work with. And when it's a smaller league too, with just 12 teams, you really get to know the players more, and it's easier to dive into content and deep storylines that way, as opposed to a 30-team league where there's 400 players, and also where everybody knows everybody's story. So I remember I told a story about Sugar Rogers, New York Liberty guard, who was like homeless for a lot of her childhood and was bouncing around different cities and homes, and ended up being an all-star, and got to tell that story. And, you know, it's just cool things like that to make the WNBA special.
Yeah, and you freaking grinded it too, especially I know when I came in, it was pretty much you and BK just grinded it out until we got a couple extra positions. So, yeah, but just to kind of go off of like us all working together, do you got any memory stories? Like you talked about your best times were like when we all worked together and stuff, and when you got destroyed by Drew and ping pong, but like, got any other things that kind of pique your mind?
I'm glad that Alex has the correct memory of that. That's good.
Wow.
I would watch from upstairs in those little glass windows.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's another win for Drew.
Oh wow, that's the 5th game that Justin lost in a row. Okay.
Nah, see, I don't remember those games because Drew was just the easiest opponent of them all.
Oh God.
We need a Zoom ping pong. Oh wait, you can't do that. Never mind.
Nah, man. Hey,
when you're in town, when you're in New York, we need like a big cash prize, like Drew versus. We'll make hype videos. We'll have you two face off best of 7 series.
Just know that every day I've been crafting. Just know, Lester, every single day.
He like tilts the board up so he hits it against its
Oh yeah, right. Like I'm going up against my wall. I'm bringing out all the stuff.
Where's Trick Shot Drew? That's what we need next.
When you come East Coast, it's on, man. We're no bars, none of that. That's second. We're finding the first ping pong table that we see.
Well, we're definitely going to bars. Wait, speaking of bars, Justin, do you remember the Cavs final, or no, was it Eastern Conference Finals that we went to the
NBA Finals
a few times? How lit that yeah, it was Game 7. How lit it was when LeBron blocked Tatum. Remember that? And
that was
wasn't it that Game 7 that we were at the Cavs?
Yeah, I was in the office for that game.
Shoot, we were at 1 and it was crazy. That's all I remember. And then we met Drew after. I swear.
We were at Finals Game 3.
Yeah, but they got swept, so that would not have been
fun. Right. Right. Well, at that point, they kind of still had a chance because like it was 2-0 and that was a close game. But
true. Then maybe it wasn't as low as I thought with you. But
no, I remember watching that Game 7 Cavs Celtics in the office, and me being the huge LeBron fan I was going nuts. And obviously we were supposed to be working. I think I was on W. So I got to be looking down at my laptop, but at the same time, I'm not working at all the entire time.
Yeah, dude, that was something that was always so fun about that job. It was just like I it was so easy to just fall in like, oh well, I'm a Suns fan, so like the Suns were on TV 8, and there's
You
like
were glued to it.
there's a 14 game night going on. I have to be doing so many other shit, and it's just like, nah, like I'm low key watching the Pacers Suns game right now.
No, the best was when
out of the room.
Yeah.
the best was when we were sitting. We had those rows. The TVs were in front of us. TV behind us has college basketball game on. It's like Syracuse versus Duke, and Drew was next to me, a Duke fan, and Syracuse won, and it was amazing to watch you cry your tears there.
That was bad, dude. Because Maddie was there. Like there were so many Syracuse fans, and
Lamont was a Syracuse guy too.
And Lamont was loud about Syracuse. Oh my god, that it was interesting because working at the NBA with so many alums of just universities that I despised, but you guys actually went there. It's like I'm a Duke fan, but like I didn't.
Oh yeah, but still.
Still, no, it's like, but there was an affinity level that like I didn't reach. So in a way, I always stayed quieter than I would have been if we were at a bar. Put it that way.
Fair enough.
I think you got progressively louder though.
I did. Once the more comfortable that
the more we shit talked, like the more we chirped, the more he chirps back. Hey, the thing is though, I brought this kid to the Syracuse backers bar for a tourney game when
that
they
was so
dope
dope.
in the second round.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was so fun.
All I gotta say.
Yeah.
Big Cuse fan.
Nah, I mean,
big guy, Drew.
If you bring me to a packed bar with a bunch of people that are like,
yeah,
fun,
that's true.
Like, come on now. That was actually a dope night. I remember that specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yes.
I just want to
go ahead. I think we were gonna have the same question. I was just gonna say, Lester, you left the East Coast, left the NBA a couple years ago.
Don't make me remember.
But you've
call me whenever you need to.
Oh,
you've been busy doing your own thing. Share a little bit about kind of the day-to-day of your new role, community manager with Cat Daddy Gaming. Talk a little bit about more of what you're doing there.
Yeah, so the game that I work on, it's the NBA 2K version on your phone. So it's in its second season. It launched about a couple months before I started the job. And it launched in about October of 2019. And so I run social media for that game and write blog posts. I interact with the players online. I take the problems that are going on in the game and bring it to the developers. A lot of customer service, a lot of also roster stuff, which I love, helping out with the team in terms of what players we should feature, who should get the best cards, stuff like that. So I actually recently had the opportunity to make LeBron a better rating than Jordan.
Let's go. My God.
Busch loves that.
I did not do it though.
Yeah.
I really wish I could have, but yeah, I do a lot of day-to-day customer service and interacting with the players, and I never worked in gaming before this. It's much different than what I had done before, but it's a lot of similar stuff as well in terms of running social and interacting with a diverse audience. So it's been great. I'm in my second year there, and now I'm also doing a little bit of work on our WWE game, which I was not much of a
wrestling guy.
No, not at all. But now I'm doing some stuff with that and running their social as well. So it's been fun.
How has it been going from like real basketball to like the virtual side of things? I would assume that in a way that it's a shift, but has it been like easy to fall in love with and be passionate about? How has that been?
Yeah, I think right now I would say it's easy and a ton of fun. When I first started, it was really hard. I played a lot of video games growing up, but I can't say I knew anything about what was going on behind the scenes. And I learned that super quickly. It's just a totally different language. I had to learn the lingo and kind of learn on the fly. So it was difficult for the first few months. I probably said a ton of stupid things to my coworkers. They thought I was an idiot, but I got used to it. And I think the key was just playing the game as much as I could, just really diving in and from the player perspective, figuring out what they want, what the issues are on a day-to-day basis. So it took a while, but now I love it. And I would honestly be totally okay with working in gaming for a while. So
would you say that you like look at your mentions a lot in work at all? At work, would you say you take replies and wants and players needing to be boosted up in account?
Yeah, that's one of the main things I do every day is looking at Twitter. A lot of good and bad. You have seen. Yeah, first started. What's that?
Roasting Justin.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't know my name yet. Maybe one day, but
I'll make it known.
When I first started, it was a pretty small account, and I was looking at pretty much every mention. Now I don't look at every single mention, but I do every day, and there's issues every day. There's people. There's the usual suspects that are yelling at me every day and saying, "Oh, fix this, fix that."
The same burner account over and over.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe it's you, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I'll be the one soon that's gonna.
I wouldn't put it
reply
past
to everything and put a picture of you and be like, "This is the guy you need to go after."
Please don't. But yeah, no, I do that stuff every day. It's kind of stressful. Honestly, I laugh every single day too because some of the comments are just so outrageous. So if anyone ever needs a laugh, just look at the mentions of NBA 2K Mobile on Twitter. It's good stuff.
Do they get in like sub arguments in there?
Kinda, yeah. It's mostly
like
just,
where it doesn't have to do with the post and they're just arguing at each other because that should happen so much.
Yeah, kind of. The other day, people were arguing about. We did a post about Nikola Jokic, and people were arguing about like, oh, who is this guy? Oh, by the way, he's a top 5 center in the league. Maybe you should watch basketball.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, it's like, dang, these kids.
Hardcore gamers that just don't watch basketball.
Yeah. So yeah, they definitely go at it sometimes.
That's dope, man. That's awesome. I kind of dipped my feet in the water of the 2K world toward the end of my time at the NBA, and kind of like what you were saying. At first, I was just like, "What the hell? Like, what the hell?" I'm cutting highlights
Dude,
of like
2K was nuts too. The emotions of these guys.
Yeah, no, but honestly, when you kind of take it from the perspective of like human beings are behind the controls, you really start to find the legitimacy behind it. And I ended up buying in pretty hard. So that's cool. So that you're doing your thing, man. That's awesome. How is the game? Like, I'm sure that you play 2K on PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna roast him this week on 2K.
How does it? So how does it differ? Maybe from a playing experience, or just the overall differences between that and like your mobile phone?
Yeah, I would say it runs pretty smooth. It depends what device you have. Obviously, newer devices, it's going to run smoother. But it is the exact NBA 2K simulation from one of the recent NBA 2K games. Not the most recent one, and I don't know how much information I can share, but it's one of the actual games, and it's pretty amazing, to be honest, for a phone. You can play a 5-on-5. You can use a controller. And then the way it works is you kind of build up your team, and the more games you play, you can get better players. And
it's like Ultimate Team in Madden, kind of.
Right. Yeah.
Or like where you get the cards of the guys, and you like keep getting better cards.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Similar to my team on NBA 2K as well. Yeah. Big gamer, Busch, huh?
Oh yeah. I'm just getting ready to smack you in 2K tomorrow.
You got scared the other night, so I don't know what happened there.
Dude, I pulled my back. It still hurts. Drew knows. I had a back game during our last podcast. You know, flu game ain't got nothing on my back game.
Oh my God! Before we started recording our last pod, he's just like, "Hold on, I gotta go get another pillow. I gotta get another pillow."
Dude, I literally stood up and I couldn't stand, or I like stood up to grab something and I couldn't stand up after I sat down. That made no sense. But my point is, it hurt, and I don't want to hear it. But
don't hurt yourself tomorrow if you guys are gonna play, Busch.
Yo, we're playing tomorrow night.
I need a
we'll stream it on Twitch.
Yeah, we should do that. Absolutely.
I'm so in.
I would actually
embarrass you in front of everyone.
That's the quarantine content I need. I need less.
So who's your team? Who do you play with?
Man, that's tough. I like to play with the classic teams, actually.
Really?
Teams, yeah.
Okay. I would think you would want to play with the Lakers, but
No, yeah, it is wherever LeBron goes. That is my squad, as you know.
no, we'll do random teams and I'll still smack you. Anyways, I'm done shit talking too much. I'm gonna hate myself when I lose by 40 points. So.
Wow. He went from the top of the mountain to
no. I mean, I know I'm gonna smack him, but I probably should dial it down just in case. Like I break my right hand, I only have to play one-handed, so that's kind of like the handicap to play against Leicester. But
oh God, he's all over the board, Justin. I don't think I'd be worried.
I'm buzzing, bro.
I'm not worried whatsoever. Trust me.
This kid going from I'm gonna beat you by 40 to I'm gonna lose by 40 to I can beat you with one hand. Like I don't know what the hell's going on.
You need me to give you like a 50-point head start or what?
No. You might need it. We'll put a few K on the line. I'll stream it on Twitch. It'll be a whole shebang, right? Anyways, back to I got sidetracked a little bit. How you doing with quarantine? You in your apartment right now? Or, like in Seattle?
Yeah, it's okay. It was like about a month ago that our company told us to go home. Seattle's kind of where it all started in the U.S.
Where the kid was born and raised, right? Or no?
Pretty much, yeah. We still were going into work for a little bit, but then they told us to go home, and now I'm at home for a month, and I think it's going to be a little longer. So
yeah, I feel you. But
so I know
working.
Busch, you're kind of in upstate New York, but I'm being right outside the city. I'm kind of in one of those hotbed zones. But how is like where you are right now dealing with the day to day? Like you obviously we're all home and that's similar, but how is like the restrictions and everything like going on with your everyday life?
In Seattle it's pretty quiet for sure. I mean, I can still go to like Chipotle and a couple other places and it's no big deal.
Can you go inside?
Yeah, I can.
Do you have to wear a mask?
No, I do not. Maybe that's coming in the next few weeks. But
I feel like if you're not there, like you're not gonna get there, you know? No? I don't know. I don't know shit. But I feel like if at this point like you're not like wearing masks and all that shit, like they're not gonna make you do that. I don't know. Just go on.
Yeah, that comment made no sense because I'm not allowed.
It made sense in my head, I swear.
All right, well, that's Busch logic, everybody. That was the first example of Busch logic.
He's just rattled because he's thinking about our upcoming 2K game. And
oh my God, dude, I'm gonna smack you, bro. I'm gonna be the Raptors. All right.
We might have to make.
I'm gonna be early 2000s Raptors. Early 2010. Sorry.
See, that's my squad with McGrady and Carter. That's my squad.
Dude, fine. We'll figure it out. Can we please Twitch this though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we might have to get a poll going because I would want to know what our followers think.
Oh, I'll get a poll. I'll put a poll going on Twitter tonight or tomorrow. And
is it the deceiving, quiet Lester, or is it the loud and rambunctious Busch? Who do you want?
But I could just imagine I'm talking so much shit, and then Lester's just gonna not say a word and just scrape.
I think in that poll there's gonna be some East Coast bias too. You know, nobody watches me play out here because you guys are all in bed by that time.
Nah, dude,
that's an excuse.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the followers that know you, Lester, you're a hidden gem. I feel like everyone would side with the West Coast swag.
You're a hidden gem. Justin Hidden Gem Lester. I love it.
Love it.
Oh my guy.
Nah, man, that's kind of it for me. It sounds like you're doing well over there. It's good. I know we were talking about we need you over here on the East Coast. I know that Busch, you're coming in June, I think, to the city. But either
once this all passes, you got to hit us, and we'll make a fun weekend out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we can spend a whole podcast length of talking about our memories together. So definitely want to make some new ones with you when you get back on the East Coast. But Busch, I have no other questions. Are you running dry?
Yeah, I'm good. hit every point except for we just need to plan this Twitch stream because it's happening.
We're gonna definitely make that happen. We're gonna put a poll out because I want to see how our followers would vote and who they are more faithful in, because this is gonna be.
We'll huddle up real quick after this. So.
Yeah, and let's see if we can trend as well as Busch did the other day with his tweet. How about that?
My guy, Twitterless Lester saw it. I love it.
Dude, I am on Twitter. What are you talking about?
Dude, he's on Twitter, but he doesn't have a Twitter. You got a burner you follow us with? Like, how'd you see it?
Man, I saw it.
How'd you see it? Did it make waves over in Seattle?
It did. It was the #1 trend in Seattle, I'm telling you.
My guy. Great.
Love it, man. Well, Lester, it was great talking with you, man. Always a pleasure, and really good to hear that you're doing well over there. And thanks again for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll try to make a trip and come see you guys this summer. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, bro.
Okay, that was our interview with good buddy Justin Lester. Really enjoyed talking. I know that you guys ended up playing 2K late last week. It sounded like it didn't go too well for Alex, but it was always great talking with Justin, and we appreciate him coming on. But Busch,
He'll be a recurring guest at some point. So
for sure, Busch, I've been chomping at the bit, man, since last night watching those 2 most recent episodes of The Last Dance. It's awesome to see that each week they get better and better. I think last night was
different too, which is cool.
So entertaining, and finally we're almost seeing a bit of the bad side of Michael with his competition issues and his gambling.
Well, some people would say bad, but I agree with every gambler.
Yeah, well, these episodes really started to show that he was no longer deemed the perfect player and the perfect human. He was personified as this almost God character. And when that Sam Smith book came out about him just gambling and going down to Atlantic City and all that, it was a
legendary move.
Oh yeah, it was an incredible story that came out. So kind of made him feel more human, and I thought it was awesome television. What were your takes from watching last night?
Yeah, overall, I agree. It gets better and different each time, which is great. It's not just like extended versions of, going through like one run. Like they jump back and forth, and which can be confusing sometimes, but they always have the dates. I really find it interesting how they go back and forth and stuff and relate things. But like just going off the second episode pretty much, which was the gambling and, that book coming out and that whole thing where it's like the media is against MJ, which is crazy. And it made me think to myself, like, imagine if the media was against him then, imagine what it would be like now with social media and just a crazy media presence speak. And it's crazy, but dude, he's out there gambling on pretty much anything he can, which is incredible. And like we were just talking about earlier, and I have to bring up the part where he's pretty much in the arena, like with these United Center or Chicago Garden or Palace.
Yeah, United Center.
Like,
yeah.
It's United Center. With the security guys, and they're doing that, like they're flipping coins and betting like you won't hit this spot pretty much.
Right.
And he's betting. And the best was the savage ass security guy just like giving him the shrug. Dude, I knew that was going viral right when it did. Like so savage. Just like
it's unbelievable. He had an insatiable hunger for competition. And it was so interesting that to this day, in the now interviews and the interviews back then that he had to do, he never thought of himself as like a gambling addict, but he did admit that he is fully addicted to competition. And in a way it's insane, but it's also I respect it, man. It's like he was not a normal athlete. Like, he was not wired that way, like not wired like a normal human being. And like, he really would be post game in his suit and betting the random security guards like, hey, I think I could get my quarter closer to the wall without touching the wall, but closer to the wall than you. Let's go. Let's put, what do you want? $20? Okay, $20. And then the guy just waxed him, and then he sits down like defeated. He's just like, "Ah, man, get out of here."
Like that little quarter game means just as much as like the NBA Finals.
Like
everything is so hard. Like
competition for him just completely fueled him. And yeah, like in the middle of an Eastern Conference Finals, and he's taking a limo down to Atlantic City with like,
which is like 2.5 hours away.
It's far enough away that it's cause for a story. Let's just
go. I was saying 2.5 hours, like that's a big deal. Like it's in the middle of the series, and he's taking the 2.5 hour trip.
And you know, the game probably ended at like 10. So yeah. It's like he wasn't getting there until late. And that means that he got home golf
with his
late.
Opponents. It's just like we were talking about, what was it, last week or the week before, when he was playing, you know, in Boston, and he was playing golf with Danny Ainge in between games. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, that's competition, but it's just like the things that like that shit would like not fly today. Like people would find out about that or something. Like
it would not.
One picture in a casino and it's on Twitter and he's roasted.
He would never. No player would ever. That's why we don't see it. But no player would ever be able to do that. Ever.
But the thing I took away with it, and you can tell me if you agree with this, obviously his just fiery passion for competition. But like, so I was scrolling through and looking at these. I saw these pictures of Tiger and MJ playing together. And first of all, legendary outfits with baggy ass pants. And
oh my God.
But I'm just like thinking, I'm like, talk about like the two most fiery, just competition based, like they will do anything to win people in their sport. And that's it. Like Tiger used to literally like chirp people and like stare them down, stand over them as they're trying to make a putt in the President's Cup or Ryder Cup or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. Obviously it's different sport, but it's just made me think about how legendary those two are, and like how we got to see Tiger, and I wish I was able to be around to see MJ's.
Yeah, no, they were two icons. You know, it's like almost like a larger than life picture seeing them together, and what I would give to be like a caddy for that too. So
imagine, first of all, like just their banter or lack thereof because they're competing, but also like their bets they're throwing down.
Oh my God.
Tiger does it during practice rounds now. Like when he was younger and he was like before this second round of Tiger, like initial, like young, just dominating life Tiger.
He was the same way. Oh yeah.
Imagine the bets they had going down. I mean,
unbelievable.
Legendary.
Nah, but so yeah, that was only episode 6. I think we're not even really talking yet about episode 5, and we'll get there, but how about just the basketball side of episode 6? So it hurt my heart watching those Suns teams just get absolutely
I knew you were going to say something about that.
manhandled, because those teams in NBA history are not frowned upon. They were good Phoenix Suns basketball teams, and just the fact that they had a really good supporting cast, young Danny Ainge, Dan Marjorie, like go down the line, Kevin Johnson, you have Charles Barkley, of course, and Charles Barkley flat out saying, I think I played the best game of my life, and MJ just played better than me. Yeah. It was shown in that episode that there wasn't anyone even close to the level that Mike was playing at then, and it was knowing that I haven't seen an NBA championship from my beloved Suns in my lifetime, to see that they were that close, it was.
And just to actually like kind of be brought through that because you were too young.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Young enough that I wasn't like coherent to like watch them. I would have been 2 years old.
Yeah. it's so the thing about that is I was actually I don't know if you might did you watch the second one after, so you might not have seen the
Yep.
ESPN right after it was going in, and I kept it on, and they were talking to Charles Barkley, and he brought up, it actually mentions Tiger as well, but it's a good point that you think about is like guys playing with Tiger were always, you were like, okay, if you were the second, third best guy, and you're like, imagine if you were playing a different decade. Like, think about guys like Barkley and those kind of teams. Like, imagine how dominant they could be if they weren't playing against MJ. It's just like,
Totally.
sometimes you just get a shitty deal. Like, you have to play in the era that MJ is just dominating the world.
Right.
So,
in a weird way, I kind of think that about KD nowadays.
I think about this all the time in the Cavs when the Warriors were so good. Imagine how many titles the Cavs could have had if the Warriors weren't that kind of team.
And imagine if LeBron James wasn't a player right now, how
well, there would be MJ versus KD debates right now.
Oh my God, if KD
because he would be the best player in the league.
If KD was like the lone wolf without a LeBron stopping his shine, we would be talking about KD as easily being one of the best players ever.
I just have to say, I think we have breaking news. The NFL is releasing their schedule on May 7th, so it's at least supposed to happen.
Okay, nice.
Anyways, just had
but I think what's cool is that episode 5 last night, so the first one was just as good. What were your thoughts about those really getting into the dream team? And they were talking about why Isaiah Thomas wasn't on the team a little bit, but then how about seeing the practice and seeing Magic?
Well, I love how they had that footage of the practice where Magic's like, oh, all they did is move the Bull Stadium. Talking about like MJ getting every call in practice.
Yeah.
It's like they're competing so hard at practice. It's like, it's crazy, but I mean, I love seeing that, just like the background of that. Obviously the dream team's just legendary, but it was cool to see kind of the backstory on the Croatia games as well.
Yeah.
Because like, talk about two different sides, and the fact that like MJ and Scotty and like the guys that were with the Bulls had this perception that was not necessarily reality. We don't know of how things were handled, and just dominated the kid.
The fact that MJ knew that Jerry Krause liked Tony Kukoc, so just out of pure disrespect and hatred to Jerry Krause, MJ was like, okay, Scotty and I are just going to absolutely crush him, even though he's about to be our teammate next season or in the following season. That is so ruthless. And you heard Tony.
And they were just like stepping over him and just like.
Oh, they made him his bitch. They made him his bitch, and you.
It was great.
The Tony Kukoc quote. He was just like, I wasn't even expecting to play that hard, and they came out and just dominated. It was like it was
ruthless.
Yeah, it was so funny. But one thing that I loved about that Dream Team practice footage was just how fucking hard they played. Nowadays, in any type of NBA practice, any type of exhibition, including Olympic play, the way we treat our athletes, since they're worth so much money individually,
don't want them to get hurt.
We don't want them ever to get hurt.
It wasn't the same then.
It's all just like walk through and buddy, and in a way, I like that from what?
It was more of a shoot around and walkthroughs.
That's it. And like back then, like you just said, you have Magic Johnson punting the ball in the stands saying, man, this is just like a Bulls arena. Like he's pissed off. I thought that was awesome.
And that's what they were talking about, how they're pissed off, and then after they're just like fucking around. Like once.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What
do you say? They were like quiet for a while, and then they said something. I forget exactly what happened. And then they were all just like.
I think someone honestly said like, "Well, that was fun." And
yeah, that's what it was. It was like, yeah.
Well, that was fun, and then they were like, "All right."
That's something I would say.
Yeah. No, but I thought it was so cool to see. And
I agree. I do have to say, before we're over talking about this, it was great to see. I don't know how you think about it, but it was great to see Kobe talking. Obviously that's like new footage that we have never seen of Kobe. Like
yeah,
which
yeah.
after his passing, which was pretty cool. And not gonna lie,
It was
got a little
so
goosebumps when
sad.
he came up on the screen. It was like part of me was like, is this too soon to see Kobe talking as if he's like still around right now? It was very weird, but very
I think how they tributed him,
the tribute in the beginning was great, and
it was good and polite and respectful. But in a way, when he showed up on the screen, I was just like, oh yeah, there's Kobe. So in a way,
No.
personally,
it's
too soon in the sense of I still have moments where this hasn't hit me, and then
that's what I mean. That's
and then it'll smack me like
it's almost
oh my
like,
god,
Kobe, like
yeah.
you don't think
Like
twice,
him,
and then you're like, whoa, wait, hold on.
yeah. It was sad almost in the after effect because it's like I watch it and you're like, all right, there's Kobe. That's an awesome quote. But then it's just like, oh my God, like he's not with us. So that's where
part of it, I think, has to do with the fact that like, imagine if like Kobe was playing and we were still playing basketball. There was no coronavirus and he passed away during his career while he was playing. It's like, you don't see him every night, things
right.
like that. Like Kobe is a lot of behind the scenes, and he was behind the scenes. And it's like the fact that like you're not seeing him on a daily basis. So you're just like, oh, it's Kobe talking. It's not like, wait, Kobe's not playing tonight. He's not with it. It's a different thing, if you know what I mean.
Totally. No, I do. But I did think that they tributed him well. So.
And I feel like they definitely had more Kobe, like talking head stuff that they could have used, and they probably didn't. I have a good feeling that there was more on that because like they had such a. I was just reading some article today. They had such a like secret kind of relationship where they weren't like buddy, but like they were very, very close off the court. So I feel like there was more that they could have done, but probably didn't want to, or could be saving for later on. So we'll see.
Shout out to Kobe though, RIP, because I do think that from a scoring mentality, I think he's been the closest player to MJ's energy.
Kobe had that killer instinct as well.
Yeah, and I do think that Kobe had that. So shout out to him. And as we continue forward throughout the rest of these now coming episodes 7 and 8, I think that we're going to be continuing to dive into more of the unpleasant side of MJ a little bit. Like,
I mean, MJ even said that people might hate him at the end of this or not, not respect how he was. But dude, he was just a straight up wanting to win. Like that's who he was.
He was a killer. So
you gotta take it in stride, realizing that like,
yeah,
I have 6 rings for a reason. So,
and I'm excited to watch because I want the good and the not as good. Like I want to see everything,
all of it.
And I think that we're really getting it with this doc. So shout out to ESPN and everyone involved because it's been an awesome journey watching this unfold. But Busch, as we kind of wrap up here, what do you got going on this week? How's everything looking on your end as we continue on?
Just about to officially sign my lease, so I'm getting ready to move to New York.
Shout out Maddie and Nicole, right?
Yeah.
That's a trio, gosh.
But yeah, no, it's right now I'm still home. Golf courses are still open for public course or private courses. So like my parents belong to a club back home in Rochester, so I've been playing, I've been walking, got myself a little red. You can't.
Oh, look at you.
It hurts, but it's good because I've been inside for a while. But yeah, I mean, I'm just chilling still, grinding at it in the job search like you, as well as helping out with my freelance can't even speak today, with my freelance work and trying to stay active, I guess, inside.
Stay active and busy. Yeah. That's I'm in the same boat as you, and that's kind of the name of the game every week of just staying positive, staying busy, and
got an official rejection today. It was great. It was fun.
Good. Hey, at least you got an email.
But it was funny because it was something that I was like searching for months ago, and they put it on like pause, and then I officially got rejected today. So Shout out.
The next one's the good one.
Brings me up. Just lifts me up.
Nah, you're gonna be getting something soon.
Yeah,
but
we're both fine.
that's why these podcasts are good for you guys listening, but also they're great for us. Like, I know I wake up every Sunday and Monday like, okay, Sunday's my day to prep because it's the last dance, and then Monday is fun because we get to do this. And I love that we have this going forward, and had a guest this time for the first time, and
first guest, baby.
We're going to try to continue to do these, and we're going to keep refining at our craft. I think these are doing well, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I do want to say we've gotten a good following so far, which is pretty cool when it comes to just the numbers of listens and streams and stuff. But like, people listening, follow us on Twitter, Instagram,
Right.
Talking Sports AZ on both of them. Throw us a DM or a reply or comment and tell us, things you want to hear or things you want to see from us. And I'm going to start producing a little more just content for us. We're both going to do so for short clips and stuff. But yeah, like, just let us know what you want. We're going to keep refining stuff. We'll try to have a guest pretty much every week from now until whenever, and try to get those in, which will be a lot of fun. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's what
with that, bro. That's it for me. I think another good pod down. And I'm looking forward to having a good week and chatting with all of you guys next week.
You got anything to plug?
What I got to plug? Shout out to Joe providing some DJ.
I can see every time you look over to the right, Joe's making a face. So what's up, buddy?
He said, "What up, Busch?"
My guy.
Nah, but that's it for me, man. Thanks for everyone for tuning in and listening as always, and hope you guys all have a good week.
Yep, have a good one. We'll see you next